Celeste, how are you?
Hi, Sydney. So nice to meet
You look
you.
amazing. It's so good to see you. So, to start us off, I really think that your performance in this film shows the audience a lot about important conversations like grief and just showing up for the people we love. What messages are you hoping to send within that performance?
Yeah, I that's a great question. Um I think that Shannon is a really beautiful character because she shows a way to like very delicately handle grief and handle the grief that a loved one might be experiencing. And so she knows when to show up and be serious and listen, but she also knows when Tessa needs kind of an uplifting and needs to laugh and needs to be cheered up. So I think that delicate balance is really beautiful.
Now, you recently starred in Ghostbusters Afterlife. This film is obviously a very different concept. How did those two filming processes contrast?
Um, that's a great question. I think my experience on Ghostbusters was interesting because I had never really been on like a big studio set before, so it was like a huge crew and so many people and huge sound stages and just like amazing things that like practical effects and sets that they built that were huge. And so it was kind of a shocking experience to be on that set. But it was actually kind of similar to the in between because we were filming on some sound stages. It was also a studio film, and then I also got to see the really cool sets that were built for this story as well. So they had definitely had some similarities in experience.
Something that I love about Shannon is that we don't see too much of her past or what happens after the film. We definitely get a very good view of who she is as a character. What do you think her future looks like?
Well, Shannon is super smart. She like is on her SATs. She wants to go to Columbia or Harvard or Yale. She is going towards success in her future.
A big concept in this film is the idea that love never truly dies. Is this something that you believe in your own life?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think love is some other thing that exists outside of us and that can move through us. And I think this film really portrays that really beautifully because it's the driving force that is, driving Tessa, driving Shannon, driving all of these characters really.
What do you think that we can learn from that relationship on screen between Tessa and Shannon?
Yeah, I think that the power of friendship too is such an important theme, and that's what we see with these two characters is how their love for each other and their friendship is something that gives Tessa the strength to kind of like continue on and process this experience she's having.
You do a lot of really heavy scenes and deal with a lot of really intense concepts. What about this filming process did you find most challenging?
Yeah, that was really challenging actually. And I was looking forward to it because I think like as an actor, that's kind of the stuff that we're ready to explore and like actively looking to explore because like I'm naturally curious and I do have all these questions about how to process grief and death and what it means and where we go. So I think it was a really cool and like creative way to kind of like explore these like larger ideas just for me personally.
In this film, your character Skylar is communicating with Tessa while in something called the in between. How would you describe this place he's in and what he's trying to tell her?
Yeah, I would say he's trying to get her to realize certain things about herself, certain unfinished business that they have between each other. And I would say the in between is just that. It's halfway, from here to nowhere. It's kind of magical and kind of austere and conceptual, yet you can touch it. It's physical, it's palpable. I would say it's kind of a representation of more of what's going on inside.
Now, Tessa and Skylar's Earthside relationship did end way before it actually should have. It was short in theory. What do you think we can learn about the relationship that they had?
I think people have a lot of relationships in throughout the course of their lives. People come in for a small amount of time, a large amount of time, and I think they're often looked at as small or unimportant. But I think those are things that they teach you and they feed you and they add to your life rather than subtract from it, even though it may not end well. That they teach you a lot.
Something that both Tessa and Skylar believe is that love never dies, and that's a really big theme throughout this film. Is that something that you believe in your own life?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think love goes anywhere. Sometimes the relationship changes. The distance or maybe people go, they leave you, or new people come in. But I think there's the constant throughout all of it is love.
This movie is definitely a glimmer of hope to those who are dealing with their own forms of grief. What advice would you have to people who are seeing this film? How do you want them to take it?
I think your grief is your own. It's no one else's. No one can tell you how to do it or how to go through it. Not a film, but if this film can sort of help you feel seen, I think that's one of the most important things you can give someone who's going through a difficult time. So I would hope it does that.
You have some very heavy scenes in this film. What about the filming process did you find to be most challenging?
Um, I mean, it was kind of the obvious things. The coordinating. There's a particular car crash that happens, and it happens in a few different lenses. This really cool thing we do with the in between and the past and the future. So that was really complicated and challenging technically, and the rowing was also difficult technically. But a lot of the scenes that you think would be really challenging were actually quite easy for us, because I have such an incredible scene partner in Joey King, who's phenomenal. I would really just work off of her, but she was just the pillar of the film, and just kind of exudes talent.
I absolutely love to hear that. Something that I absolutely adored about this film, and I think it's very underrated, is the personification of film photography throughout the relationship between Skylar and Tessa. What do you think that capturing of the world around them says about their relationship?
I think it speaks to a particular perspective that Tessa has, that Skylar learns about. So she's not able to necessarily articulate to him how she is and how she's feeling, but I think this allows Skylar to see her through her own lens, which is something. It's a way that they bridge together deeply and quickly, is actually through this art form that she has, which then develops over the course of the film.
Hi, Sydney.
Hi, Joey. You look so pretty. Oh my God.
Oh, stop it. Thank you so much.
Joey, your performance of Tessa in this film opens up a lot of really important conversations about topics like grief and accepting love for ourselves. Out of all the messages that this film sends, which do you believe to be the most important?
I think the most important message that this film sends is that in order to love yourself properly, you have to be vulnerable with yourself even, and that can be really scary. It's scary to be vulnerable with other people, but sometimes it's even scarier to be vulnerable with yourself. And I think that is the most important message, along with another beautiful message that it is possible to keep love alive even after someone has died.
100%. That kind of leads me into my next question. Your character firmly believes that love is something that never dies. Is this something that you believe in your own life?
Absolutely. I don't think love ever dies. I think love is the most, I don't even know what love is. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know the definition of love. It's something that you feel. And I just know that I think it's the most powerful thing that we have as humans. I think it's more powerful than, I don't want to sound cliche, but it's more powerful than hate. It's more powerful than power. I think love is the most powerful feeling that we could all ever feel.
I totally agree. And your character really admits that. And I think that's one of the things that makes this performance so authentic. Now, you are no stranger to taking on super complex roles. We see you in the act, we see you in a bunch of stuff. What about this film was most challenging to you?
That's a really good question. Most challenging, it's interesting because I had a really wonderful time making this movie. I had so much fun, which is, just like with the act, what a complex, crazy journey I went on. Yet I had so much fun making it. And I think that's just a testament to the people that I'm working with. And I loved Kyle. I loved our director. I loved our writer. Everyone was so awesome and just incredible that I think the hardest part was like how attached I became to these characters during certain scenes. I would really just get myself so worked up that I'd be like, I would still be crying after they yelled cut because I was so like upset about how sad this was. And so that was something it was a challenge, but it was also really like, it was beautiful. And it was a testament to how much this movie meant to me and how much I hope it means to other people.
Tessa is a character who is rarely seen without a film camera in her hand, which I thought was a really cool personification in the film. It kind of shows how she captures the world around her and just really views things. How do you think that this affects her as a character?
I think this affects her as a character because she's hiding behind this camera. And that's how we first meet her. But then as we begin to see Tessa open up and become more vulnerable and be brave and courageous with her feelings and her emotions, her camera never leaves her. It's just that she views photography and she views why she's taking pictures in the first place in a different light. And so she keeps the best parts of herself while growing in a way.
Now, you have such a beautiful interpretation of Tessa and a really incredible understanding of her. What do you want viewers to know about her before they go see this film?
I want viewers to know that there's a Tessa inside of everyone, and they've probably all felt her. And if they haven't, they will at some point. That everyone's been afraid and scared to let themselves love and be open and be brave because of things that have happened in their lives. And that's okay. And I think the best thing about Tessa is that she learns to grow and be vulnerable, and that we can all learn that as well.